Hi, everyone. Welcome to Chicks Talking Pics, where Jenny and I discuss images that you've sent in and let you know what we think about them, how we might improve them, whether they're a good competitive image, things like that. Plus, we throw in a couple of other episodes of different things also. So how you doing today, Jenny?
I'm good.
Good.
Getting a little cooler weather here in San Diego nowadays.
Oh, sounds wonderful. Yeah, I'm in New Mexico. We had our first freezing night last night.
Oh,
Brr.
not that cold here.
We had to bring in the RV hose so it wouldn't freeze over,
Uh-oh.
which is not fun because then you got to hook it up in the morning and it's cold and all that. Anyway, today we're here. A friend, Barbara, sent in three black and white images. So we're going to discuss a little bit more in depth about black and white and shooting black and white.
Yep.
So we'll start with one of Barbara's images and I'm going to throw it to Jenny. She can start there.
Okay, so the three images we're going to see today, she took at White Sands National Monument. I think it's
National Park.
Park, that's right. It got elevated to park in New Mexico. And I think she did a really nice job on her processing on this one. There's a nice vignette. It's kind of a panoramic style crop. There's good textures. And the way she's positioned things, it kind of brings you in the dune in the background, which has vegetation, kind of draws you into the image. We're not sure. She didn't send any information what camera she used for this, but one of the things that can make it hard to shoot black and white is that you have to actually visualize what the image is going to look like while you're seeing it in color. One of the advantages of mirrorless cameras nowadays is you can set them up to actually give you your preview in black and white. So when you're looking at your screen on the back of your camera, you see it in black and white, even though you're still shooting a color image in RAW with all of its color data to later process. So that can kind of help you visualize what your end product's going to be, even if you're planning on going black and white from the very start. And another thing that we wanted to touch on was the processing for black and white. So for digital cameras, obviously you're getting a color image and you're converting it in your digital darkroom. And one of my favorite programs to do that, even after all these years, is Nik Silver FX Pro. And it just gives a whole lot of tonal control. You can pinpoint areas using their U-point technology, I believe they call it, and mask certain tonal areas and then adjust those. So Sandy, what do you want to give us a little bit of tonal variation instruction?
Well, I'm going to address Barbara's image. This is, of the three, I think this is my favorite image that she sent in. I really like several things about it. I like the sand dunes are nice and clean, and throughout the whole image you see these ripples that are just leading you backwards. Not like a leading line, but they're repetitious, and she's got a nice foreground, kind of a middle ground, and then the sky is the background. I like that she's put those little mounds, those dark mounds right in the middle, or almost in the middle of the image. I like that about this image, and I like the dark sky to the left. And then I think the vignette has helped darken the sky to the right somewhat too. But I think she's done a really good job with the vignette. Very, very professional looking. I like it a lot for my taste. Of course, now remember, Jenny and I judge together quite a bit, and these are all subjective judgments on your images. We don't want to, say anything bad. It's just what we feel from our experience. of judging. So yeah, I really like this image. I like the sun rays that are coming down into the image. They kind of bring you back to that middle of the image again. Very nicely done.
Mhm. Yep.
And
And
yeah,
of the images we're going to see, I think this one has the best range of whites and blacks. And we can talk about that when we get to seeing
yeah,
some of the others.
the tonal that you told me to talk about, and I did. So
It's okay.
we'll get on to the next one. Yeah, very nicely done, Barbara. I love the crop on this.
Yeah.
I'll take this one. This is an interesting image for me because I see a couple of images in it. I don't see I'm for me, this one's a little hard because I love the contrast of the dark sky and the white sands. And whether you did this with a polarizer, Jenny and I were discussing earlier, or not, we're not sure how you captured the darker sky. Post-processing, you could have done it in there. We see a vignette in the sky, and I don't even think that's really necessary in this image. But I do like the contrast between the dark sky and the white sands. However, I think I like part of it more than I like the rest of it. Off to the left, if you're looking at it, it could have been a rock that was rolling down. It could have been people sliding down. We don't believe it's tire tracks because I don't think anybody's allowed to. I mean, I think it's pretty well policed. White sands I don't think you have that opportunity, but I don't know. Or maybe somebody slid down the hill on the left-hand side, which brings the element of human into a nature scene that I'm not crazy about. But what I do love about this scene, which I think you could pull out, is that beautiful curve in the middle. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And if you could pull, I like the whole curve from the very start of it, the top where it hits the sky, comes around, and then it widens out in the bottom left-hand corner, and you see those ripples again of the sand. All that is really appealing to me. Moonscapey. It's a mood that I get from that. But then what wrecks the mood is those lines from either human caused or walking on the dunes or whatever on the left. That bothers me. And you might be able to crop this image a little bit, but then you might lose a lot of that S curve. But it does have better tonal range than the first image we saw with the darker darks. And I think Jenny's going to talk about the little plant in the bottom, and I'll let her go ahead and say, go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah.
She likes that part.
Okay. Yeah, it's just for me also the straight lines off on the left I find distracting. And the curve is, just a gorgeous form that really you could have focused just on that and then made a secondary image involving the plants down in the bottom. Because they're interesting on their own. And I know I've shot some of the plants at White Sands and they can be their own story. I don't think they're adding to this story of the dune and the shape of the dune. So I would say, maybe if you changed your position, you could accentuate the curve that Sandy loves so much and that I love, and eliminate the distractions on the left, and then maybe focus on the plant as its own separate image and not as a part of this one.
Yeah, I agree, Jenny. I do. I think I've seen a lot from White Sands where those plants really make a good solid statement in the image.
Right.
And I wonder if this one's just maybe too small for me because I kind of dismiss it. And I think what you're saying, Jenny, is if you get down closer to that plant and make that your maybe subject in the image.
Yeah, you could do that in a different image, not
in a different image. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Make your own, make its own story, get up close and make it the
Right.
prominent piece of the image rather than just an extra piece.
And the other thing, Jenny, did you say what you were going to say?
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off.
Nope.
The other thing was, this seems to be leaning to the left to me, and it could be because of those diagonal lines on the left. It's like I want to roll down the hill. So I don't even know. I might crop it from the bottom and kind of to the base of those little images, those little plants there. Maybe even, I don't know. It feels like I'm falling to the left. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, something like that. Just to get rid of that rough sand and make it more smooth, I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah, because let me clear that out. The texture on the curve is enough texture. I think the texture down in the bottom is distracting.
Yeah, that's that's what I want to say. The texture on the bottom is a little distracting. Yeah, I just want to see the curve. That's what I want my eyes to see. And that is even, okay, I'm going to use my little tool here. If I can, for some reason, oh, there it is. Let me draw the part that I really like is this little
same part I like
right in here. That's my favorite part of the whole image. And I think that if you took a little burn tool and darkened that edge just and accentuated that little curve within the curve, you know, and darkened it down a little bit, you would really have a stunning part of the image that would really grab my eye, because that's where my eye goes to right now.
Right. And the thing with the plant down there is because it's dark, you know, I'm looking at the center, but then I keep getting drawn down to the corner because of what's going on there.
Yeah, it's competing.
Yeah, good word.
Yep. Yeah, very good.
Yep.
But otherwise, I do like the contrast of the whole image, and very pretty. All right, let's go on to the next image. All right, Jenny, you can start with this one.
So this one, it has an interesting sky, which is nice because you don't always get that there, to contrast with the sand dunes. And again, I think a little more focus on, I think there's more than one image in here. Again, the left side of the image is really great. You have this diagonal coming in here and then the diagonal coming here through the dunes. And I don't think the right side is adding anything to that.
And I kind of differ with you on that just a little bit. I like the juxtaposition of the dark sky up in the right corner and the clouds coming in from the left lower side. I kind of like that.
But this section here?
No, I kind of like having that diagonal that you pointed out a minute ago, kind of this
with the clouds.
This cloud here, it kind of cuts across, and this whole area is dark, this whole area is light. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like that. And I apologize for writing all over your image, Barbara. But I think it's hard to explain if you don't you don't show people. So we try not to write on images too much. But I think the one thing that would improve this, Jenny, let me know what you think, is we both kind of earlier talked about it and agreed that maybe cutting it off, well, even, you know, straighter than that. I just having this small little mound of kind of even sand. What, pardon me?
Getting rid of the rough sand down there.
Yeah, getting rid of the rough sand would even make it more powerful. I don't know that for sure, but I think I would play around with that. If I were you, Barbara. I would, I kind of like the little, this mound in the bottom. I love the mound in the bottom, but I love it against the dark sky. And this side of the whole image, the right side of the image, doesn't bother me. Like Jenny says, it can be cut in two. I agree with her there. But I think you might improve this one just by getting rid of that bottom rough sand. That would be really, and making it more of a pano than you have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, I really like it. It tells the story. Jenny, tell me about going. You've been to White Sands. I'm in New Mexico in Bosque del Apache right now. And tell me your experience at White Sands. What time did you go? How far did you have to hike?
We've been a couple times. I think it's been a few years. It was still a monument back then. We actually went at Christmas time, and what was really cool was it started snowing, and the snow is actually a different color than the sand. I mean, they're both white, but they're different shades of white. The sand's a little ivory colored. So, and we went and did the sledding, and we had our dog because it's one of the dog friendly parks. You can have your dog out on the dunes. I don't think that's changed since it became a park, but always check with the rangers before you do that. And then we also spent some time there. I think it was in the fall. They actually did a hot air balloon rally out of the park where we got to launch from inside the dunes, fly over the dunes, and land on the highway outside the dunes. And they've done it a number of years. I don't know if they're still doing it. And one of the cool things, although I guess you can decide for yourself, they have ibex that live in the dunes that were transported there. They're not a native species, but you can sometimes see them, or more likely see their tracks in the dunes. It's definitely a good park to go visit.
Yeah.
It's not huge, but you can drive in and then just start walking along the dunes, and there's no trails per se. It's just go out and walk.
What time of day did you go? Early morning?
Well, we drove from El Paso up to it. So we got there, probably late morning, and we were there. Once it started getting more snowy and cold, we packed it in and went back. And then I was there for the balloon rally. That was, of course, dawn. And then we were there at sunset for a balloon glow. So yeah, I've been there a number of different times a day, I guess.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to head over there since I'm so close.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get a lot of glare if you go there midday. So definitely want to be shooting early or late. You can get some really pretty sunsets there.
Great. Well, that's it for today. Well, you know what? One thing, Jenny and I, before we go, we'd like to thank Barbara for sending her images in. We thought that every one of her images had an image within the image. Just wanted to let her know that really there are a couple of options for each of your images, Barbara, that we thought would work equally as well as what you've done. So that I just wanted to let that be said. And if you are interested in having your images discussed between Jenny and I, we would love to have you send them in to chickstalkingpics@gmail.com, right there on your screen. Please size them 1920 on the long side, and just send a JPEG to that address, and we will get them in the queue for our next or future episode.
And if you send any of the information, what you shot it with, any of the metadata, that kind of helps us with other things to help you with.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, I do like to see the metadata and a lot of the images to determine how we could improve that technical part or mechanical part.
And if you want to get notified of the next episode, go to YouTube, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for all, and you'll find out when our next episode is live.
Yeah, great. We'd love to have you join us for each episode. And thanks today for watching. We really appreciate your, coming to see what we've got to say. And Jenny, I'll sign off now. Everybody, have happy holidays to everybody. I think this will be posting just before Thanksgiving sometime.
Yep. Okay.
So happy holidays out there. And we will continue to do our best to bring you more episodes.
Okay.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.